you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing very good. Thank you so much for joining me here on Hits 96. My name is Gino, and this is my first interview ever on Hits 96. I'm new to the station, so congratulations. You're my first interviewee.
Oh my God, thank you.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. That's very cool. So you're going to go down in history as far as when it comes down to it, when it comes to my history here. So thank you so much for doing this.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
I wanted to start off to say that La Di Da, that's the song. We're playing it all the time here on Hits 96. It's just truly amazing. It's a great song, a wonderful collaboration that you've done with Jaden, and he actually has some Chattanooga roots from his background, which is really cool. And we'll get into that. But I kind of wanted to start things off with kind of your beginning. I know that you have a massive social media following, millions on numerous platforms. So let's start there. Actually, you're kind of where you came from social media and how it all began. Was this the plan, or is this something that kind of happened to you? Explain that, because it's amazing to me sometimes when people, I mean, millions of people go on TikTok, and to actually go quote unquote viral is a whole nother story. So explain that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I think like my overall journey is just like honestly the definition of like everything happens for a reason. Have been on social media as like a random, I mean, like any other teenage girl, you know, just posting as myself, and I just happened to gain a massive amount of a following, and it was so random and crazy, but it just happened without me even trying. And you know, music has been something that part of my life for so long, and being able to gain a platform as quick as I did kind of helped me a lot to be able to kind of pursue my dream of music and finally get out to LA and actually do it.
Very cool. And has music been something that's kind of always been in your background, have been doing even since, I mean, you're young still, but even when you were younger, was that always kind of maybe a dream that's a possibility of happening?
Yeah, I mean, I was born in a pretty musical family, I'd say. I always had a studio in my house growing up. So I like recorded songs at like from the age of like 4. And so I mean, I've always been writing and singing choir. In school I took, you know, I was always just a very musical person, and I've always wanted to be a singer. Like that was my biggest dream. So yeah.
Who was your influences growing up? Who were the ones that kind of inspired you to do the music thing?
I'd say my dad was like the biggest influence in my life because, you know, he does it, and but yeah, really that. And I just felt like a gut feeling that like this is what I had to do, if that makes sense.
Was there any other artists that you may have saw growing up and thinking, that's what I want to do? I want to take the stage like that person.
I totally would say Britney Spears was one when I was a kid, and I was like, wow, I want to be a pop star. And then in middle school, it kind of transferred over to Adele, and I just like admired her. She was amazing, but I would say those were like the 2 female influencers like when I was a kid. Yeah.
Awesome. So you're graduating high school now. You have a little bit of this fame when it comes to TikTok and a big social media following, and you're deciding to break into music. You've come out with a few songs. La Di Da is a giant collaboration, and that's kind of about that transition, right? If I'm not mistaken, it's from your move to New Jersey to Los Angeles and kind of how it affected you.
No, yeah, of course. I don't, it was very, I feel like very sudden, but I think it's just so dope. I don't know, like in the moment out here, it's like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's like everything moves so fast, but feels so slow, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, for sure.
But yeah, I feel like I'm just like always waiting for the next thing, like the next release, the next song. Now I'm just waiting to perform, so.
I heard it's a lot of hurry up and wait type of thing, that type of attitude when it comes to LA and putting out music and all of that.
Yep, because like, I mean, you rush to get everything done, and then it's like you finished all of your work, and it's like, okay.
Yeah, exactly. When it comes to La Di Da, like I said, that's the song that we're playing right now, and people are absolutely loving it. I did mention Jaden. This is a collaboration that you've done with him, a couple of them that you've done now. Jaden has Chattanooga roots here, so he has a big fan base that follows him, which is just outstanding. What was it like working with Jaden? And then on top of that, being able to work with Travis Barker, who of course everybody knows and wants to work with at one point of their career.
No, yeah, I mean, as far as Jaden, like he's amazing. I knew from the start that we kind of shared the same passion and genuine like love for music. So it was easy, you know, he's so creative and I feel like I am too. So it was just like a perfect mix. We worked super well together. He's incredible and like talented. It's insane. And then Travis, that was just so surreal because I have been listening to Blink since I was in like middle school and
Yeah.
like literally like the fifth grade. And so it's crazy having someone as legendary as Travis being on my songs, but he's awesome. You know, he knows exactly what to do and how to do it. And as soon as he put his touch on La Di Da, it was perfect, like perfect. And it was super cool.
Was that intimidating at all, knowing that Travis Barker is now going to touch the music that you've created and he's going to put his creative influence into it? That had to be a little intimidating, especially growing up listening to him.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, like the first time I recorded with him in his studio, I was so nervous, like I was shaky, and I was like, "Oh my god, it was terrible." Because I was like, "It's Travis Barker, you know." It's
Sure.
like, but I kind of had to like sit back and like realize that, like, dude, like he's on my song. Like it's such like an honor and like just a dope experience. So that's kind of what like lessened the whole like intimidating like feel of it all. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's no worry that when you're in there, you're going, oh my gosh, maybe I do suck.
Oh, I feel that every day.
Oh,
That's like,
okay. Well, you obviously don't. You have a huge following too, and I think a lot of that comes from your social media fans. And now that they're all crossing over into your music career, that has to be nice. And I think that maybe kind of sets you apart from some other pop stars out there because you do have that following already, and they wouldn't follow you if you weren't talented. That you have to remember that.
yeah, I mean, like I think it's so cool. And, you know, I'm so grateful for the platform that I was given. It made a lot of things easier for me when it came to, you know, starting music and like my music career. But at the same time, there's such a stigma behind like coming from a social media space into like another lane of like being in the music industry now, you know, a lot of people want to judge and critique and like not give you fair judgment. You know, if like you're from TikTok or if like you they just first saw you from music, you know, it's so different. But I'm grateful for it. I think it's helped me a lot. And yeah.
No, that's great. That's fantastic. What does Nessa Barrett do when she has this free time? What do you do to relax?
Honestly, I just sleep. I've been getting
I love the nap too. I love taking naps, so I get it.
no, I love naps, but recently I've been like getting back into drawing a lot and just like painting and stuff. I started writing a book. Um so yeah, but then like if I really want to relax, I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna hit the bed and like
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, for sure.
Um,
When it comes to writing music, I can only assume that you use it as some type of therapy. Sometimes when it gets to your lyrics, you do go kind of dark at times. And it's because you're obviously going through something, you're feeling vulnerable, whatever the case may be. So is that, I know that you're a big proponent of mental health and making sure people stay healthy mentally. So talk about that a little bit, your need to make sure that that awareness is brought up and how it reflects into your music.
Yeah, I mean, like as far as my lyrics, they are pretty dark because I do cope with music. I mean, that's the only thing that actually works. And I don't really sugarcoat anything, and I am not like afraid to tell the truth. And I think if I were to sit here and lie about, you know, what's really going on in my life and like in my head with such a big following and a platform that I like have, I think it'd be a shame because I wouldn't be like kind of sharing a lesson to everyone out there, or like letting anyone know that they're not alone. And that's kind of why I do everything, is so that people do know that they're not alone. And like, even I, who they like idolize, you know, or like look up to and like love and think that I have such a perfect life, like online, when they see such a surface level of everything, you know, I go through some really deep stuff. And so yeah, I just think it'd be a shame not to talk about my experience and like kind of be vulnerable, because I think it does help a lot of people.
No, I agree. And I think that's something that's very important, just to let people know that you or anyone is going through something just like them. I think that's a lot of the problem. People think they're by themselves, as you mentioned, alone, and be like, why does this always happen to me? This is only happening to me. And that is not the case. And you're proving that with your music and showing people that you are going through things and getting through things. And of course, being on top of that is a nice message to put out there for your fans.
Yeah, exactly.
Very cool. A couple more questions. Let's talk about the future here. We have La Di Da that we're playing. I know that on the 25th, we're going to be releasing a brand new single. I believe it's called Counting Crimes. What can we expect from that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm so excited for Counting Crimes to be released. It's been in the works for a while.
Okay.
I believe even before La Di Da, but I could have like my times off. But like a perfect transition and a follow-up song from La Di Da. It's like, oddly enough, I didn't really expect La Di Da to hit like pop radio, which was super cool. And so I think that Counting Crimes is more on that pop spectrum than alt. But yeah, I think I just like kind of like testing the waters when it comes to all different types of genres. I don't like keeping myself in a box and in a bubble. And I don't really like define like, you know, what type of style my music is. I just make whatever music feels right to me in the moment. And yeah, I mean, this song I think is going to be a great follow-up one from La Di Da. And then after, kind of getting into EP mode. So it's exciting, but yeah.
Definitely something to look forward to. And I think that's why the song has crossed over into pop music as well, because it is different. It's not the standard song sound that we're hearing right now. And it really perks up the ears when people hear something like that. So kudos to you for pulling that off. One final question, Nessa. If somebody had to ask you, you know, a lot of people you probably feel like they know you at this point through your music, through social media. What's something that you want people to know about you that maybe not a lot of people do as of now?
I think because I kind of did come from a social media space, a lot of people tend to kind of think that like I don't really have any control over anything, that like, you know, my name is slapped on, or like my music, or like down to the creative. But I mean, everyone that's on my team knows that like I am so heavily involved in everything. I have like 100% control in all of my stuff, and like the whole like creative direction of like the music videos, so like the assets and promos and like the songs and all of that stuff, you know, like does come from me and like my heart. And yeah, I think a lot of people don't really see that, because they kind of think that, oh, like she's signed to a label, you know, whatever. But yeah, so what they see from me is 100% me, and all real. So yeah.
Very cool. So you're all in on all aspects of your career, which is, I think, the way to be. Hats off to you and your success. I wish you the best of luck in the future. We're going to continue to play all your music here on Hits 96, and I appreciate the time. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you for having me. Have a great day.
Thank you, Nessa. Bye-bye.